Undertale is a game with a very descriptive name. It is a tale that takes place underground. Delta Rune, on the other hand, is less straightforward. Delta is a Greek letter symbolizing change, and a rune is an ancient symbol that typically holds some mystical power. Think of the similarly named Alpha Rune from Ben 10. Unlike Undertale, Deltarune's name is said within the game itself. Yet strangely, it is said both with and without a space separating the words. Why is that? The Delta Rune was actually name-dropped in Undertale first. This is because Toby's been planning Deltarune since before Undertale even released. If you check Deltarune's website in the Wayback Machine, you can see messages from Gaster dating back to December 2015 and 2016. And of course, Deltarune is an anagram of Undertale, reflecting the rearranged story elements. As a keyword, it is normally written in all caps, like soul or save, but here it just has the first letter of each word capitalized. And like Undertale, the name of the game itself is also generally written in all caps by Toby. Though, amusingly, the logo has it entirely lowercase, even the first letter, in contrast to Undertale's all caps logo. I don't know, maybe Sans wrote the logo. Actually, while looking to see if anyone else had noticed these things, I saw people note that the A and U of the Deltarune logo actually are still capitalized. The game is essentially an official AU, alternate universe after all. According to Gerson, the triangles, or perhaps deltas, of the Delta Rune represent monsters, while the winged circle represents the angel, the one who has seen the surface and will cause the underground to go empty. Undertale's Delta Rune is treated like two separate words. It is the Rune of Delta. And the spelling of the symbol itself is indeed maintained at Deltarune. In the very last line of Chapter 3, it is said that the last lock on the shelter had the Delta Rune written on it. So, is Delta-space-rune just how it's spelled in-game? Nope. During the church scene at the beginning of Chapter 4, the choir sings the phrase, "The Tale of Delta Rune." Huh, the words are actually sung with syllables aligned to the tune. Neat. The usage of tale is interesting, as both a potential nod to Undertale, but also to seemingly indicate that the prophecy itself is called Delta Rune. We might be onto something here. A prophecy panel in the first sanctuary says, "The legend of this world, Delta Rune," one word. But here we run into a problem. When Rousey released the prophecy to us in Chapter 1, he says, "This is the legend of Delta Rune," with a space. I'm starting to think this whole thing is a wild goose chase. Okay, maybe Deltarune is just the name of the game, having no space. The game itself is a sort of metaphysical legend. The one-word version of the prophecy brackets it with inequality symbols for some reason, but I'm not really sure what's up with that. Maybe we need to look at this from a different angle. The philosopher enemies can ask, what is Deltarune? Or what isn't Deltarune? Without a space. So, what is Deltarune? Why is it called that? I think the idea of delta as a symbol for change is the real key. While the triangle-shaped deltas represent the monsters in Undertale, in Deltarune they seem to represent the three heroes. Indeed, in the same scene where Rousey is talking about the prophecy with space, he describes the heroes as the Delta Warriors. Is he just saying that they have the power to change the world? Or could it perhaps mean that they have the power to change the prophecy itself? There's also an interesting point made by Redditor u/slightly ironic banana that delta might refer to a river delta. Throw that into the pile of water symbolism in this game. At the end of Chapter 4, the narrator asks, "How much longer now, my Deltarune?" with no space. I think it's pretty uncontroversial to say that the narrator is Gaster. His manner of speech, his song being called Another Hymn when Gaster's was hymn.ogg, etc. Man, imagine telling a Deltarune fan in 2022 that your favorite scene was when Gaster showed up and said, "It's Delta time." We don't really know what he's referring to here, though. It sounds like he's actually wanting some kind of physical object or event to happen as a result of us playing the game. It could literally just be the game itself, as he is seemingly the creator of the world, with the whole survey program opening. Deltarune is written in all caps like the title, but everything Gaster says is written this way, so we can't be sure. The name of the game is also said aloud at the end of Chapter 1, in a robotic way, reminiscent of some of the Gaster-adjacent stuff in Undertale. So this could literally just be Gaster's voice.
Hello, have some respect and don't spoil the game. It's impossible to have mysteries nowadays.
Because of nosy people like you.
Please keep all of this between us.
If you post it online, I won't make any more secrets.
No one will be impressed.
It will be your fault.
And I guess he was just feeling funky at the start of Chapter 5. But does he really just want to see how this experiment plays out? Or is he working to some specific goal? He also uses the one-word, all-caps Delta Rune in some of his pre-chapter release tweets, saying, "Now, show yourself, Delta Rune," and "Delta Rune glows brightly from your hope." If this is referring to the game itself, it wouldn't be the first time a character with meta-knowledge does this. Omega Flowey changes the name of the game from Undertale, all caps, to Flowey Tale, which is just one word but with only the first letter capitalized. But then there's a real curveball. For Valentine's Day in 2024, Toby Fox released a bunch of Valentines from different characters. There was a secret one from the Eggman, who we assumed at the time to be Gaster. However, it seems now that the Forgotten Man is something else entirely, as Gaster refers to the eggs as issues based on the achievements, treating them as some kind of bug. This card asks, how is Delta Rune? With a space. I don't think he's asking about the symbol, the grammar doesn't really work. It's giving serious, how do you do, fellow kids energy. But then, in the actual game, the Eggman says, whether 11 hours or 11 years, Deltarune will be waiting. Without a space! So I guess he actually was talking about the game? While gathering assets for this video, I stumbled upon a Reddit post by u/Saint Natouche that I found very, very interesting. Check the description to read the full post. They noticed that this dialogue by the Forgotten Man was not the only time Deltarune has been said to be waiting. The Chapter 3 and 4 trailer lists each chapter as waiting, and then finishes with, Deltarune is waiting. This actually continues in the Chapter 5 trailer. And apparently the PS5 description also says this. The post then connects this to Gaster's lines about how much longer we must wait for his Deltarune. I think this is the key I needed. I think Gaster's Deltarune is indeed either his connection to the player, or something we create as a result of playing the game. Not because of our actions in-game, but the act of playing itself. One of the comments in the post says that it's waiting for us to finish the story. I don't know if they meant it this way, but I think this connects really well to what Gerson says in his Hammer of Justice fight. The last chapter of the story was never written. The pen is there, waiting for the new generation to write the ending. That's what Gaster needs us for, to etch the Delta Rune. He created the prophecy, maybe even the entire world of Deltarune, but he needs us to finish it. Without us, the game will never end. We are the variable of change that he cannot predict, the novelty his simulation cannot emulate. As he says, we were looking for him just as much as he was looking for us. To him, the Deltarune we provide is the ending. To us, he provides Deltarune the game. In conclusion, Deltarune is usually written as one word in reference to the game, the prophecy, and the thing Gaster wants to create with us. It is written as Delta-space-rune when referring to the symbol itself. But the inconsistencies, like however the Forgotten Man uses both seemingly interchangeably, keeps me torn between seeing this as all intentional or arbitrary. I had hoped Chapter 5 might elucidate this a bit, but there was not a single instance of the phrase in any way throughout the chapter. I do think that we might eventually get a song called Deltarune, much like how the song Undertale plays when the monsters explain Asriel's backstory in New Home. I want to say that it won't have a space in the name if it purely references the title, but Undertale, played as a literal tale, was being recounted, so maybe this will play as the angels banished or something. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed my new mic. I was shocked by how well my first Deltarune video performed. While Chapter 5 punched several holes in it, some parts actually got stronger. Chapter 4 is still my favorite, and in my next Deltarune video, I'll discuss the prophecy's final tragedy.